The next one is emotional, and that's kind of close to psychological, because how we perceive someone psychologically, that we're going to have an emotional response. Okay? Like even here, this is an example. You might rate this workshop based on how you felt about me, and yet it had nothing to do with what I was sharing. How you showed up and how you perceive me. And if you have a good emotional response because of the way maybe you're open, I was able to connect to something that was heartfelt for you, then you will maybe experience this as a good workshop. It's very subjective. And that's also why at the beginning of this, I wanted everyone to be very clear and present in this moment. Because however you showed up here can convolute your experience now or when you're out on a date. So hopefully everyone's fully present here and receptive to something new. So our emotions follow like the way that we believe, the psychology. And also at a core experience of emotions, that if everyone has their cell phones on, if you put on silent or vibrate. One thing about emotions, very, very, very important, that if you are on the spiritual path, you probably have been taught to really pay attention to your emotions and to always move towards feeling good. I actually want to throw something out there, and that is, whatever's coming up is coming up. And that could be the ego trying to divert you from feeling anger or divert you from feeling sad. There's a good chance you're supposed to look at that. It might mean that there's something that's being overlooked. So your emotions should not define you, nor should you negate it from feeling what it's feeling, nor should you actually come to the conclusion that those emotions are actually real. Have you ever felt something about someone or something so strongly, but just to get a little bit more information, it's a completely different story? There's a story that Stephen Covey shared, and he talks about, you probably heard this one where he's on the subway and there's these three kids just running mad, hitting a newspaper, there's just creating all this distraction, and no one is saying anything. And there's this father just completely oblivious to it. And Stephen Covey's getting kind of annoyed, like, you know, what's going on? Why won't this guy take care of his kids? And finally he looked at the man and said, are you going to do something about your kids? And the guy just looked kind of dumbfounded and he said, well, you know, I guess they are kind of acting out. I just don't know what to do. We just left the hospital and my mother died a couple hours ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that, I mean, in that moment when he heard that information, his heart just like melted. He's like, how can I help you? So again, our emotions can take over and they can override conscious thinking. Glad I picked you up on that one. Spiritual attraction. Yes?
Before you move forward, it says right here, unconsciously we attract experiences of rejection or victimization to meet a chemical need. What do you mean by that?
That if you're used to feeling rejected and that chemical response might, I'm not going to go into the biology of that, that if you're with someone who actually is always nice to you, that itself can feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable, therefore you'll maybe create a fight to create the drama and that rush of adrenaline and cortisol that'll run through your body, which you were always used to growing up as a child. We all have dated someone who just attracts a lot of drama, correct? And no matter how good things are going, somehow they'll create something.